Welcome back. So in this one, I've got some really good game for you guys. We did a live Q&A. It was about a little over an hour long. Chopped it down to about 40 minutes. Got some really, really awesome questions from my students. This was like the first live stream that we did inside the school community. Really awesome. As the weeks go on, it's getting bigger and bigger. Last one we had like 20 people, 15, 20 people. This next week we should have like 30 or 40. But it's like real small, real niche. Ask your questions. I'll even drag you in if you want to do that in the future. But we had a lot of fun. So that's what you're going to see today. Like 35 minutes of just gold. Some of the answers that I gave were amazing. If you want to see the full version, I guess just go join the school or something. It's like $17, but you don't have to. You completely don't have to. Here's the sauce for you. Let's get into it.
Hustle the overweight. That's why they follow me, huh? They think I know the way. Cause I took control of things. Ballin' the solo way. And if you pattern my trend, I make you my protege. Crossing that soldier race. Niggas don't know them days. Take you in back of the buildings. Make you exposure. I'm about to drop in the fuel.
Go ahead.
So if you were going to like start today right now and you were like, say, looking at some products, what's a product or maybe two, however many you might be thinking, like something that had your eye recently in the last couple of days?
Okay, off top, it was recently in the last few days I saw this cooling pillow, right? Like one of the students in here has actually publicly posted about a product that he liked.
Of course.
I will say I have one guy. Is he? Oh, he's not in here. I would drag him in. No way if he was online. But he's in a niche, for instance, where I'm going to use that as a learning lesson, right? To teach, where it doesn't really solve any problems at all, right? I guess I'll say it's more of like someone has convinced themselves they have some mental problem that needs to be solved as well. Therapy is $1 billion niche. So what if there was a way to tap into that so take that with what you will, but
I think that's solid. Right?
Yeah.
I do see a couple questions in the comments. I don't know if any of y'all might want to get pulled in to talk. You're more than welcome to just drop it down. But first one here coming in from Lee Santos. He's asking, what are your thoughts on starting drop shipping organically, then slowly transitioning into paid ads?
Okay, organically and transitioning into paid ads. All right, so starting organic works. However, there's a lot of legwork that goes into organic dropshipping. Like before, the reason I don't preach about doing organic first, and I'm going to touch on the scenario on if you do that anyways, right? But the reason I don't preach on it personally is because I use it like as a comparative sense. So I compare where I can get the most return on my time. If my time is what I have to invest and I don't have a bunch of money, then your time is the most valuable thing. Probably do is go get a tip-based job where you work your ass off, you make $200 to $300 a night in tips as a server or a bar back if you're not 21. Like you can go work in a restaurant, make tips, and then you can immediately take that money and put it into an e-com business. That will give you a much higher return a lot faster than doing organic. However, the alternative to that is it has a higher reward, right? So if you make organic work, you might make 30 grand pretty quickly, pretty easily. However, I wouldn't put all your eggs in a basket that you can't control. So that's something that I would just do in tandem together. You can have a job and farm organic at the same time. There's no reason. And if that's too much work, then, work on that first. And then work on trying to start business. Definitely.
Yeah, I think that's real key. So next up, I'm seeing Lane Davis dropped in. He said, how early, kind of moving back to that original question I had asked, how early would you jump on a product for warmer weather?
Okay. Ooh. All right. So don't jump on a product for warm weather, right? Jump on a product that, it might be for warm weather, but like something that is about to be in season. Fishing, right? Fishing crushes. Like I remember I was on a call with a student not too long ago, a few days ago, or yesterday or something like that. And we're looking at Google Trends and we're going through a couple of things. and we put up inside of Google Trends, we put fishing versus, it was something that's massive, like a jacket, or it was something that has way higher demand than fishing does. But since fishing is an innate response of humankind, like we go hunting regardless, people fish, people need food, it's season, the fish are biting, so people will go catch them regardless every year. So as we put them in a 5-year graph and we're looking at Google Trends, we see fishing, even though it's a small niche, has almost as high as a demand as like sleep in the summertime. So find something like that, right? Where it doesn't need to be a warm weather product, but it can be a warm weather niche, like a warm weather market. I'll leave it at that. I love that answer. Let me see. What do we got? Oh, you here, Angelo? All right, cool. I love having you listen to
Yes,
this.
sir.
I think we'll do this regularly.
Yeah, I'm hoping for some more questions. Trying to think here.
I got tons of questions. I'll just
You still got your notes. If you want to go back into what you're talking about and kind of piece it together. If anyone drop a question. If you want to get added into the call, just let me know. We can add you in. Camera, whatever.
All right, one question I got right here is, let's see. All right, well, this is a little higher level question. All right, Dave, this one was, do you need to have, can you attach an S Corp into Shopify? The answer is yes. However, I highly recommend, if you're doing something like that, just put an LLC under the S Corp, because the S Corp protects everything, right? You don't need to put a whole ecom business under a whole S Corp. An S Corp is like the umbrella. So you can have 50 LLCs under the umbrella of your S Corp. Does that make sense? So just for now, I would focus on, if you don't have any employees, and I'll bring this back down to base level. When you're doing your store, don't worry about establishing an LLC yet until you're making sales. Once you start making sales, and just remember, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a financial advisor, nothing like that. But there are legalities, like you're legally allowed in America anyways, as long as you're over 18, blah, 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 right? You're allowed to make a certain amount of money before they charge you for taxes under business purposes. But once you surpass like $10,000 or $20,000 in revenue for your business, you definitely need to have an LLC set up. It's not hard to do, by the way. If you want it like walked through, then go to like LegalZoom or something like that. They'll set it up for you. $100 to $200 in pretty much every state. Sometimes it's free or like dirt cheap, depending on the state that you're in. But here in Florida, it's like $160, and it's pretty much instant. And then after you establish an LLC, and when you're checking the box for it, you can just do a sole proprietor. You don't need to do a multi-member LLC. It's going to ask you which one you want. So just do sole proprietor for LLC. And then, what was this? There was something else I was about to say. Oh, and then immediately after you establish your LLC, give it 2 or 3 days, let it sit in the system and go through the nether realm of the government, right? And then go to Google and just go to the irs.gov, like official website or whatever. But you don't have to go straight to the website. Just Google irs.gov EIN registration or whatever, or watch a tutorial on YouTube. Or you know what? I'll make a little course module showing you how to establish an LLC real quick. But it varies state to state. Everybody has a different state website, so I don't know how exactly powerful that'll be for you, but it'll be a general explanation. But after you get your LLC, get an EIN number from the IRS. It's instant. You just go on the website for IRS and you put in your LLC that you created, and they instantly give you an EIN number as long as it's within the hours of 9 to 5. And that EIN number is like the social security number to your business. So later on down the line, you can use that EIN number to literally, you can go buy a house, you can go get cars with that EIN number. Like that EIN number has a credit score. Like your business can have a credit score once you get that EIN number. And this is going to help you later on down the line. So right now you might not need it so much, but you are going to thank me later once you realize you have like a perfect EIN credit score, and you can, do a lot of stuff with that. So Yeah, that EIN number will allow you to grow your business when you don't have any money. So once you start getting even a little bit of sales from your business, you can use that EIN number. Let's say you're doing 500 to $1,000 a day and you want to scale. You can go to the bank. You have a legit business that's making money and it's got a score on it. So they'll loan you money against what you are making. Let's say you're making 10,000 a month in revenue, not even in profit, in revenue, then they will loan you 10 grand. And then you can use that 10 grand to grow your business and pay the bank back and build your bank credit or build your business credit. And then they'll loan you more money. And then you get to a point where you're wondering, like you see on the internet, you wonder how people kind of go from zero and they ramp up really, really quickly. It's most likely either this or it was daddy's money and they just had like a small loan of $1 million from their dad or something, right? But most of the time, it's just making smart little business moves like that. No.
I think that back end super important. Once you really start scaling, definitely get all that set up, guys.
That saved me. My first,
Yeah, it's necessary.
the first 6 digits that I saw in my bank account was, it wasn't from all dropshipping sales. It was because I did exactly that. I built a business, and then I had a LLC. I put an EIN number on that LLC. I think the business was doing like 75 or 100 grand a month in revenue, like just in sales, you know. So I hit the bank. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to grow this. I didn't really know what I was doing, so I kind of got fucked. I mean, they all got paid back, and it built my business credit score and everything. So later on down the line, like Shopify reaches out to you. Like once you build a Shopify store and you're making a little bit of sales and you establish your business and your EIN, Shopify will offer you money, just like how they did for me. They've done it for pretty much every Shopify store, right? You're making 10, 20, 30 grand a month. You'll see a little pop-up in your Shopify, like a little bar, and it'll say you can select from 3 different options, right? You have like a low interest, a medium interest, and a high interest. And the high interest isn't really even like insane. It's like 8%. It's high, but it's not crazy, right? So they gave me the option of like, hey, you can have 15 grand, 30 grand, or 45 grand. So I took like the 30 and then I built the business and I paid Shopify back. And then what? They offer you more money after that. So Shopify, I love them, bro. They will help you become rich for seriously. That's like the best thing is EIN, LLC, hook that bitch up to Shopify.
Absolutely key. Absolutely key. 2 questions here in the chat. One from Lane Davis and Trinity Anderson. They're kind of along the same lines here. Where would you go? Like, where are you finding reliable suppliers for a product right now?
I'm only using Zendrop. I've been using Zendrop for a really long time, and the reason, let me explain why, is because I remember one time I had a business where I was doing a lot of volume, and I had an issue where the supplier, like the people in China who was shipping the product, I guess they had some issue with the amount of volume that they were receiving from my company, so they didn't have like all of the little knickknacks of the products, right? So you know the shower heads that I talked, it was literally the shower heads. I would have shower mounts, shower hoses, I have shower filters, and they would sell out of certain items, right? So like let's just say a big problem, we ran out of the shower heads, but we have every other item. So there's orders getting shipped out, for instance, and my supplier in China is fucking me as the business owner and sending the wrong items every here and there and blah, blah, blah. And normally you would be asked out and you would lose that money. But since you have a 3PL, a private supplier like Zendrop, I would go to them. Because once you start making sales with Zendrop, you get linked with them directly, right? So you have like, they give you a couple of employees. You don't have to pay for them or anything. It's just all incorporated into your system, right? So I have a couple of guys that I'm talking to inside the company, and I'm like, yo, this is insane. What's going on? And they covered you. They have a whole policy where if that happens, if you refund the customer because that happens, Zendrop will refund your ass. That's about as good as it gets. Like that's just, they don't even have to do that, I don't think. You know? So I would use Zendrop. They have forever won my loyalty off of that shit. That shit will save your life if that ever happens. I've never used AutoDS. I've never used CJ Dropshipping. Zendrop, bro. And they don't pay me. Let me check these comments real quick. Check these. W Zendrop. Hell yeah, Lee. Hell yeah.
Yeah, besides Zendrop's my go-to.
Hell yeah. Reliable suppliers, heated blanket noted. How would you jump on a product? Warmer weather. Having a hard time finding the right products, and I'm looking on Callow data and Pippi ads. But when I'm looking, how do I know when I have the right products? Trin. I'm happy to have you in here, Trinity. So, having a hard time finding the right products, and I'm looking on Callow data and Pippi ads. Okay. I hope you're not psyching yourself out, Trinity. So on this note, interact with me a little bit, Trin. Like, what is it that's making you feel like you're having a hard time? Like, let's dive into you real quick, because I do like to follow the numbers. So are you having a hard time finding the numbers? Is that what it is? Is it like a technical thing, or is the whole thing still kind of confusing? Because as far as finding products on Callow data, like Callow data is one of the best resources on seeing something that's already working, and then all we have to do is cross-reference that to how we can run some ads with it, right? So with Callow data, you kind of have the benefit of the doubt where you can just put time into Callow data and just keep going down the list of products that are selling really well, and then just keep constantly going over to Facebook ad library and seeing if anybody is testing that product. So honestly, just through bulk, like just through mass work, Callow data works just through that alone, right? So you don't really even have to think if you want to use Callow data and use that method. You can just keep going down the list, and then once you find a product on Callow data that is selling really well on TikTok Shop, and nobody or almost nobody is selling it on Facebook ad library, then that's a lineup right there, right? So that's it's just the numbers. I have learned to not think too much when it comes to picking my products, because I'm my worst enemy, like you're your worst enemy in that, because it's like you're looking at numbers that tell you that things are working, and then all you have to do is connect the dots. But if you're still psyching yourself out, then it's definitely slow down, and then let's go back to the foundation, right? So the foundational rules are: is the product selling? Is there a competitor making money? Do they have ads that we can compete with? If those things are true, then we take it to Google Trends. Is Google Trends telling me that this niche or this product market is trending? It's going up? It's going down? What is it doing? If it's going up and then all the other things line up, then that goes on the product testing list, right? I don't want to overcomplicate it. I want to leave it right there, Trinity. Hit me personally. Take it from there. I don't want you to stay confused, Trent. I'm happy to see you back. So, what you got, Lane? I see you in here. You commented 15 times. I got you, brother. I got you. I love you, Lane. Bro's locked in. You got anything, Angelo? That sucks. You guys couldn't hear the hustle and
Sorry about that, but
Nah, you're good, bro. You can unmute yourself. Oh, I think he said he's gonna be right back. Okay, no worries. You know what? Let's see. We got Alexandria, Austin, Kobe, DM, Jimmy, Kobe again. Shout out to you, Kobe, and then Kobe. Lane, shout out. Lee was in here the whole time. I fuck with you, Lee. In here like 20 minutes beforehand. Marquis, I saw you. Nathan, and Trent. Okay, look. Outside of this, I mean, we could sit here all night. Let me make sure. Let me open my messages up and see. Make sure. Okay, yeah, no more questions or anything. I'm looking at my messages, so if you got some questions, drop them in. Yeah, my pleasure, Kobe. My pleasure. Outside of this, oh wait, what's a good amount of products can you have on your niche store? Okay. What's a good amount of products? What's a good amount of products that you should have on your niche store? The way that I like to operate that is I like to have one hero product, right? So you have one main flagship product, always. Even for Scrub Daddy, big Shark Tank company. They have Scrub Daddy, and then they have other ancillary little products that you and I have never really heard of besides Scrub Daddy, right? So once you go to Scrub Daddy's website, they're like, hey, here's what you came here looking for. But at the same time, like, you didn't even think that you need this thing and that thing, and they complement it really well. So the main focus behind like a branded dropshipping store is to have that one hero product that brings them in. And then you support that hero product with maybe upgrades. So you brought them in for a specific thing, but maybe once they hit your website, instead of buying a $50 thing, you can sell them a $250 thing simply, through proximity, because they came here looking for this, but this upgraded version really has every feature that they actually were looking for. And the main product only has like half of them, So definitely have a hero product, and then have a funnel of products. Not too many, just a few, but a funnel of products that allows the customer to, one, have an anchor. So what I mean by an anchor is, let's say you have someone come to your website and you're selling a $50 product, and you really just want them to buy the $50 product. But you need them to understand that this $50 product is a good deal. So what you do is you put a $300 product right next to it to anchor the perceived value of what you're selling. Right? They're like, they'll be very similar to each other, but one will be 10 times more expensive. And it really makes this one stand out with how valuable it actually is. That's what we call a price anchor. Right? Yes. What's the least amount of money starting off that I should spend on ads once I want to launch my first product? Minimum $20 or $25 a day. You can make it work with $25 a day, for sure. Tarkin, I'm pretty sure Tarkin, he was doing I think he was making like $100 or $200 a day in sales off of $25 a day in ad spend. So you can definitely make it work, and then use that to begin your feedback loop and start looking at what your metrics look like, your clicks, your purchases, etc. And then we can grow from there, So Lane, what's your thoughts on an expensive product or a cheap product? Which one performs better most of the time, or is somewhere in the middle the best choice? Okay, well, bro, to answer your question, I'm going to refer back to the original, which is the price anchor, bro. Both are a good option. And if you got a little more money to play with, Lane, and you want to test both options, use my structure that I teach, where you have 2 or 3 products that are in the same niche and they're very similar to each other. And then you launch the test campaign with one campaign. Let's say you have 10 ad sets inside of that campaign, but in each ad set you have 3 ads, all for the different product, right? So you have one that's cheap, one that's middle, and one that's expensive, and you let the ads cycle through those and see which one people actually like. So,
I'll mention on that note, honestly,
What's up?
from experience, what you're going to be looking for is cheap products, moving a lot of them, or expensive products, moving a few, right? Where you're going to get lost is in the middle. That's the middle is, it's high or low, I would say. In my experience, I would say, high volume, low cost, or high cost, low volume, right?
I love that you said that, bro, because you just, yes. The way that I would put that is the impulsive decision that happens behind someone who buys something for $20 and like $70. It's the same impulse, right? Like once you go over $20 or $30, like anything between that $20 or $30 to $100, it's the same fucking impulse. Like you can sell them the same shit. It's they put the same level of thought into it, So really, that price anchor, you can have a $70 product and it's the same impulse as if they were buying a $30 product. It really requires about the same level of convincing. So yeah, I love that. Beautiful point, Angelo.
Nathan, looking at how would you go about validating a very niche product? You said the new Facebook update would prioritize creatives over the product. So how would you go about validating now, or is it still the same process?
Validating a very niche product. Okay. Uh, the creative, use this as your ideology going into that, right? The creative is your targeting. So the Andromeda update has reverted to a system that's very similar of TikTok, where you don't have to target anybody to validate anything, right? So you let your creative find the audience, and then you said the new Facebook update would prioritize creatives over the product. So how would you go about validating now, or is it how would you go about validating, or is it the same process? Yeah, no, it's not the same process. Okay, yeah, I'm answering it correctly. It's just a weird way. Yes, your creative is now your targeting, bro. Like normally we would go into it and we would do like interest targeting most of the time, right? And interest targeting still works, but what I'm saying is by focusing on the fact that the creative is going to do your targeting for you, the algorithm's AI is watching and crawling through your creatives and finding who it feels is going to purchase based on that and not through your targeting, right? So if you're going for a very niche product, in order to tie it in, if you're going for a very niche product, make a very niche creative, bro. Period. That's how you do that. Good question. That's a fire question, Nate. Fire question, bro.
Yeah, that's gas. That's real relative right now. Uh, just dropped in here from Colby. Let's see. Around what age range or consumers, based on the product chosen, have you seen the most success from starting out?
It's a broad spectrum, to be honest. It's not really one or the other. Everybody kind of has their own lanes that work for them based on the age group, right? So Gen Z works really well on Gen Z trendy type of products, bro. Everybody can do this, but it's more of like, are you trying to do something that leans into what you know, or are you trying to like lean into something that is you're gonna lose to a Gen Z guy who understands that market better? That's a pretty simple answer. I love that question though, because a lot of people, like I do have maybe, like I'm 27, I got people who are 30s, 40s, right? So yes, you need to sell something that you already understand the market in real life. Like ideally, you don't have to, but like if you mountain bike in real life, then you know that you understand the market for that. You understand the buyers and the customer avatars. Hold on. All right, get that nice and close. But you understand who's buying, so you need to kind of lean into that. I remember when I first started drop shipping, the first things I was selling were what was it? Like the mechanical keyboards, obviously the women's stuff, because everyone always says that selling to women is the ideal thing to do, which honestly, like selling to women, you're going to have a higher percentage rate, but you're competing like with Trinity. If she's selling to women, you're competing with Trinity, who understands women, so if you're a hunter, start with hunting stuff, but stick to the rules. So if you're going to go into this of like, let me find a niche and then find a product, okay, that's fine, but pick a niche that you understand and then stick to the criteria on top of that. So you have the gauntlet, you have the rules that I tell you about, the criteria on whether or not it's going to work, or if it's not, we go to Google Trends, we check their competitors, blah 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 blah. So yes.
Yeah, I think overall, you really got to understand what you're selling to be able to sell it, right? So it has to resonate with you. That's something to keep in mind. That's a fantastic question, though, because it could be, it's a fantastic question.
And innately, like low key, without even saying that, that's kind of what I'm training you guys to do. Like before, as you're going through and you're going through the system in the course, you see like when you go to AI and you start feeding that prompt to AI that I give you guys, you're literally just learning about everything that you're selling, who you're selling it to, what they like and don't like, and why they're buying it. That's why the tactics work. Just simply because deadass, you are more informed on what you're selling and how you're selling it. Like previously, I mean, even before I was using AI to create the avatars for me, I was literally sitting down with the fucking notepad, bro. And I'm like, just like Einstein, I got some music playing or something, and I'm just thinking about, okay, this is why they'll buy it. These are the 3 benefits. I had a different formula, but I just use the same formula with AI now. It's just the same shit that's just evolved with the technology, essentially. So, yeah,
I think
fire.
models are super crucial. Just to kind of speed up a lot of the tedium of a lot of it. Like I wouldn't, definitely don't rely on it. Do additional research and such, but it's very nice to have that around.
Yeah, I wouldn't be dependent. Like I would definitely like use it as a tool, but please, well, I don't know. Should I even be saying that? Because it's like, look, years ago people were saying, I'm not going to use smartphones or I'm not going to use the internet. And then it took over, and all those people who decided not to learn that shit, like, they get left behind. That's kind of why we're doing the AI and we're winning, because we decided to lean into it rather than be a purist. So really, I don't know. I don't know if I should say depend more or depend less on AI. But what I will say is just in your thinking, be an independent thinker and be a seeker instead of a leech. Like seek the knowledge rather than try to consume, if that makes any sense at all. So, but I think we're getting to the hour long mark here. I do kind of want to like caveat this whole thing with, like, I know we got a lot of, not a lot, but we got the regulars, which I love, inside of here. And I just want to say, Angelo is my day one. He's been with me for years. Loaned me money on my first fucking stores. I had his sister, not his sister, god damn it. I had his wife doing my customer service on one of my stores. Like, Angelo is valid. I'm only saying this because, look, I love Angelo. I just want you guys to love Angelo too. He's experienced, he's smart, and he's a lot more like empathetic and emotional in his thinking, as far as like he can understand people a lot better, right? So if you ever have any like specific questions, whether it be for drop shipping or just like life in general, for real, tap in with my guy Angelo. You know what I mean? He's also the gatekeeper for a lot of the stuff, since the community is kind of growing. I have all of my one-on-one guys who can tap in with me directly, but outside of that, everyone else is going to have to be going to Angelo, and then he's going to be facilitating any of the anybody wants to upgrade or downgrade or do the one-on-one or just do whatever, book any calls and stuff like that. So yeah, outside of that, I mean, do you have anything that you want to say, bro, Angelo?
I mean, there's a final question if you want to wrap it up by that. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. What is it?
All right, so it's coming in from Lee Santos. It's saying, do you think certain niches can be very saturated? I think that's a great question. I'm gonna let you hit it first.
Yes and no. Um, I'm a believer that nothing can truly be saturated, because even when things are saturated, they become innovated, and then people want the next thing, the next new thing in the same thing that has been saturated forever. What that teaches us is that consumers don't mind saturation. Consumers mind a lack of value. So how does that translate into saturation of marketing? Well, new marketing angles or new innovations on products bring new value. When someone perpetuates the same thing over and over again, the value degrades. It's the law of diminishing return. People have been here, heard that, done that, seen that. So, like, even with me, like, I pop out of nowhere on TikTok, YouTube, and I got this school community, and I'm talking about drop shipping. Drop shipping has been around for years. It's just business. It's e-commerce, right? However, people want a different method, a different channel of information. What has been saturated, maybe the kids in the Lambos or doing that. That's saturated, right? That method, that channel has lowered in value to the consumer. So then what happens? You have a guy who comes up and he's a little more humble, a little more chill, and people are more drawn to the opposite, right? Eventually, maybe a year or two from now, people will get bored from a humble guy and they'll go back to the... But it's the same thing with products. Toilet paper. I'm going to use toilet paper as another example. You have the thin, cheap toilet paper. Then Charmin comes out with thick, plush, soft toilet paper. Boom, $1 billion business. But then some people don't like that, so they go back to the Costco Kirkland. All Costco sells is Kirkland thin toilet paper, pretty much, right? So, no, the consumers don't mind saturation. They just want new value in whatever you're bringing. So if you can find a way to shift that and just present new value in whatever the thing is, then you can kill it in something that's already saturated. I would say take advantage of AI while you can. Angelo the GOAT. I appreciate you guys truly. Thank you for taking this. Hey, my pleasure. I appreciate you guys for joining. This has been the first go around to this. I want to do this weekly. I think Wednesday is probably a good time, but I think probably Wednesday is gonna stay Wednesday, like Wednesday late night, because most people are off work or however that works. I think in the mass statistics of the world, Wednesday is the most downtime day of the week. That's why I chose this. Also, by the way, I'm going to leave this off with a little bit of game, like a little nugget, right? Worldwide, people get paid most of the time on a 2-week basis, right? So the first Friday, and I think it's the second Friday of the week, every month, the first Friday and the second Friday of every month, usually you'll see a random spike in sales. And sometimes you can get a better ROA just by increasing your ad spend every 2 weeks on days like that, right? So that's something that I learned from my buddy Frankie Shaw back in the day. And I don't know why it just popped in my head, but I felt like I had to share that. Outside of that, Angelo, do you have any in conclusion words? I'm about to end this.
I just want to thank everyone for showing up, man. Y'all lock in. I mean, keep learning. Just keep working, man. I mean, you can outperform anybody. Just get your ad placements right, work the algorithm, and I mean, start scaling. Yes. It's money, man. We got this. Come on.
Money or farm the internet, y'all. Thank you for joining. It's been fun. Love you guys.
That's gas.
Hell yeah.
Good shit, dog.
Yeah, that was fun.
Some good questions. That was nice. I like that.
A little bit of engagement.
I like that. A bit of engagement. I was talking to a lot of those guys today. I'm glad. I was like, yo, y'all, maybe you should make sure you come in and